This time on The Real Generation Gap.
It was a movie about the making of a, it was like the movie of a making of a movie of a making of a movie, you know?
Fun fact, this movie actually earned a world record.
Man will punch you this way, a woman will hit you that way, you know?
And I felt like a lot of the attention was much more focused on sort of the love and the sort of attention to detail when it comes into making large-scale action movies like this. Specifically, you know, the stunt work and as well as, the pyrotechnics and stuff like that, and the special effects. And
But then you got a guy like McConaughey, you're not that good.
Hi, welcome to The Real Generation Gap. I'm B.J Kang.
I'm Fred Satilli.
And the movie we're reviewing today is The Fall Guy, Hollywood's love letter to Hollywood stuntmen. Aiming for another chance at love with his ex-girlfriend, a movie stuntman tries to save her directorial debut film, but finds himself entangled in a deadly conspiracy.
And it was a fun conspiracy. Yeah. You didn't realize it was going to be as complicated a conspiracy as it was. Yeah. And as it started to unfold, there was a couple of aha moments. For a movie that's basically just like a fighting and explosion movie, the story was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought the story was decent. I thought the characters were decent. I definitely think that the highlight of the entire film was the stunt work, the special effects, explosions, the fight scenes. Those were definitely what was most on display when you go to see this movie.
Right, no question about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing I always hated when there's a movie about the making of a movie. So I love Tropic Thunder because it was a movie about the making of it was like the movie of a making of a movie of a making of a movie, you know? And they really exploited that. And I don't think that'll ever be topped. So this didn't top that.
I do think it's interesting that you draw a comparison with Tropic Thunder, because Tropic Thunder is like another movie about making a movie. But looking at The Fall Guy alone, this one's much more technical. This one shows you a lot more of like the camera work, you know, the devices that they use to achieve these stunts, and like, you know, you see all the cables, the cars, and how they look. I mean, a little bit of that, you know, green screen action going on. Little fun fact, this movie actually earned a world record. They have the world record now for the most cannon rolls in a stunt work movie, which is, in order to get that car rolling, which was at the very beginning. Yeah.
Oh man.
In order to get that car rolling, they have like a cannon sort of attached to the bottom of it, and he presses that button, it launches the car up, and it just starts rolling. They got, I believe, 8.5 rolls from that car alone. And that's a Guinness World Record now.
That is a good fun fact.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, you know, a great stuntman movie from my past was the Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
They had more car wrecks in that movie than any other movie. They had a Guinness Book of World Record for that. They wrecked the most cars, and I thought that was kind of cool, but that was nothing on the level of this.
Yeah.
One of my favorite fight scenes in the whole movie was Stephanie Tsu in the garbage truck with the guy, and she was like a savage fighter.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many stunt women did that scene or how many takes or whatever, but it looked pretty good. And it was like she fought like a girl. It was a girl, you know what I mean? Like the kicking and screaming and stuff. Like when the men fight, it's, you know, like they sort of like know how to fight.
Yeah.
The man will punch you this way, a woman will hit you that way, you know? And there was a lot of that like kind of stuff. And I was, wow, this is authentic. Of course it wasn't, but I really, of all the fights, and there was, I mean, I don't know how many fight scenes were in this movie, probably like 20 or more.
Yeah.
But that was really my favorite one.
Well, if we're talking about favorite scenes, one of my favorite scenes had to be the big fight scene at the end when you had the whole stunt coordination team versus like the generic bad guys. And that scene was like really over the... That scene was really over the top for me, because they start fighting and then explosions start going off, and you have these motorcyclists that just sort of these dirt bikers sort of just, you know, jumping over ramps and stuff into the fight and then punching guys off their bikes and riding off. And that right there was very much just like, this is like the whole choreography of the fight, you know, the stunt coordination of all of it was very impressive. And it was, even for just a smaller mid-scale battle, there was a lot of pizzazz to go with that.
Yeah, it was an editing masterpiece.
Yeah, it was.
You know, and just imagine lining that up in your mind. These guys are going to jump over this. This guy's going to be going underneath him on the ground with that. This person's hanging out the window. And in that big fight scene, one of the things I really liked about it was the criminals, they knew they were really fighting like to commit the crime.
Yeah.
But the other guys were just, I'm not saying they were fighting for fun, but they were sort of like, they were just like kicking ass like a bar fight. It was like a bar fight, but a couple of the people were real. A couple of people, they had an agenda. They had to, they had to get back the phone or whatever it was at that point in the movie. I'm glad this picture is up because this is a movie where I basically focused on Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. These other people were all phenomenal. Teresa Palmer was great. She had a fight scene, right?
Yeah.
When he came in the thing. And I personally, maybe it's because of my age, I love Gail Meyer. And seeing her in the what was that show called? The TV show that she was in, Ted Lasso. She was like the evil blonde, really, really rich girl. Mm-hmm. It's the same exact character. Like the evil, a little bit older woman, like evil middle-aged woman that was like, had relentless nerve and was controlling everything and like the iron grip on everything. Same character, but different makeup, different hair, different all that kind of stuff. But when I found out it was her, I was like, oh, yeah, that's my movie star right there. I dig her, right?
Yeah, I thought that the acting performances were okay. I didn't think they were anything revolutionary or anything like that, but
not.
I think they did a very good job. I mean, Ryan Gosling did a very good job of playing a very plucky and sort of over it sort of movie stuntman, just tired and stuff like that. And I thought Emily Blunt did a very good job of playing a sort of, I would say,
budding star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like trying to make it and making it, and like every minute still trying, like not a made man.
Yeah. Very. Yeah. Spunky. Yeah. That was the word that I decided to go with Emily Blunt's character. I thought she was kind of spunky in that sense. But
it's kind of a cross between funky and stinky. I don't like spunky. Let's get a better word for her.
Yeah. Well, it means both courageous and determined, and I definitely think that 100% she had that in the movie. But it was a cute sort of chemistry between them.
Well, it was great because she was the most ignorant person. She's trying to make the movie. Meanwhile, there's like a whole organized crime thing going on. Ryan Gosling's, he wasn't telling her anything. He's protecting her from knowing the horror behind the scenes, and then she's, like right until the very end did she sort of get included in everything that was really going on.
Yeah.
And then she came through, helped out in the big sting at the end. There she is. And this is the weapon when they conceived this weapon, she went like, this is a stupid looking weapon. You can't even really fight with this. Then she goes, I'm getting like this once she started fighting with it.
I did like that the movie had a lot of like subtle jabs or like little pokings of fun towards the movie industry. Like at the beginning, they made a little reference towards deep faking and that sort of whole thing. But what was funny to me was that the movie that they were filming in the movie, which was, I believe, called Metal Storm, it was right off the heels of like when Dune 2 came out, and it was very much felt like a reference to like that whole movie blockbuster that just came out, and the whole aspect of like, teasing about how outlandish some of these sci-fi concepts coming out of Hollywood could look, but there was a lot of love put into it for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it made you think of Dune a little. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, there was literally that part where they're like, they have that sort of like the theme that goes on in the movie, like in Metal Storm, where it's like,
And what a crappy soundtrack. The sound. Let me say this about the soundtrack. The fight scenes and the shooting and everything had phenomenal soundtrack. Yeah. It was really flawless and good, and that's the standard for the movies now. They have that figured out, But when they pplayed like rock songs,
the Kiss, AC/DC.
Oh God, they were just the wrong choices.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was like, did you even know any more songs? Like it's like picked by the wrong person or something. Somebody that not much musicology. Mm-hmm. But the one moment where I wanted to stand up and applaud was when Gosling got in the boat and the theme for Miami Vice came on.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my favorite TV theme songs of all time. Mm-hmm. I loved the theme song for Miami Vice. And, of course, it was the same like Don Johnson in the Donzie, picking the nose up. And it was so for Gosling. And he was wearing the Miami Vice jacket. Mm-hmm. So that was a real good tribute sort of to that. Jan Hammer, who wrote that theme song, Jan Hammer, he had just come off of being in the Mahavishnu Orchestra. So he had tremendous success in a fusion genre. And then it was like he had this one pop thing, and he made this like really corny pop video where he's like trying to be a rock star or something, but really he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a whole interesting cultural thing at that time. But when that came on during the movie, that was like a high point for me. That exhilarated me. Mm-hmm. And I started to think about the great theme songs, and for me, the number one of all time is Star Trek. There's no theme song. But the other one that I think is phenomenal that way is Mission Impossible. Mm-hmm. You know? And so I started thinking about it. And then I thought about movie theme songs, right? And one of my probably top 10 favorite songs is the theme from You Only Live Twice, the James Bond movie. Mm-hmm. It's sung by Nancy Sinatra. I just love it as a piece of music. And so this is one of those things where we always ask you to put stuff in the comments. So you don't even have to watch the movie to make this comment. What do you think are your favorite movie theme songs or your favorite TV show theme songs? I'd like to see a list. I'd like to see people really, because you try to think of them and suddenly you can't think of every show, every movie, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's all the Western TV shows and stuff like another famous theme song, The Magnificent Seven, Elmer Bernstein. Have you ever seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
It's a movie where you could just like not have the video, just like put it on in the room and hear the soundtrack while you're working. You know, it's that good. So the Magnificent Seven's a fantastic theme song, but I loved the Miami Vice thing, and he was wearing the jacket from the production of the show, and then when he had to fake his death, the fact that jacket was floating in the water, it's like, well, he's dead. There's the jacket, right? But he wasn't dead, was he?
No.
What a surprise! But that still was a great thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it definitely like fulfilled that, like, you know, a very generic sort of action movie. And I felt like a lot of the attention was much more focused on sort of the love and the sort of attention to detail when it comes into making large scale action movies like this. Specifically, you know, the stunt work, and as well as, you know, the pyrotechnics and stuff like that, you know, the special effects, and you know,
they set him on fire multiple times.
Yeah.
Can we take that again? He's like, I was just on fire.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we'll go on fire again.
Mm-hmm. So the movie, I felt like, was much more about that, and sort of Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt's romance and characters, as well as
they had good chemistry, didn't they?
Yeah,
they really did. I kind of bought that. You know, I saw them as a couple.
Yeah, I did think that was well sold, but I definitely felt like that whole part took a little bit more of a backseat to sort of like just showing, you know, how Hollywood makes these movies and stuff like that. And that's perfectly enjoyable if you like that. But if you're coming in,
right, like the scenes in the trailer, like where they're, you know, like
yeah.
the Stars trailer and the stuff that was going on. Now, a minute ago, you said this movie reminded you it was on the heels of Dune 2, and you sort of saw some.
Well, the movie that they were filming in the movie, you know, Metal Storm.
Right, yeah.
There was a lot, I felt like there was a lot of references to like, or maybe just some small sort of hints to like Dune. And like, that was the point, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the battle of the weird species and
Yeah.
every different thing. Now, the movie that came to mind when I was watching this, I don't know if you've ever seen Sahara with Matthew McConaughey.
I haven't.
Okay, it was a 2005 movie. It had a lot of scenes. It had like the racing boat, you know, the exploding boat thing, and some fight scenes and some special effects and all that kind of stuff. And because it was in a desert environment, you know, it reminded me of that, and I thought of it. And I remembered how much I enjoyed Sahara. I've seen it twice. So, you know, when you see, it's basically, it's not a blockbuster movie. It's not a must-watch movie.
Yeah.
And neither is this. But the both of them, you know, I did at some point, Sahara came by on the choices, you know, and I went like, all right, it's 10 o'clock at night. Like, I'm trying to go to sleep. That was a fun movie, and it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before we started. There are actors, I see them, and I think I could play that part. You know, I really could. I'm as good as that guy. I don't want to mention any names, but you see it. But then you got a guy like McConaughey, you're not that good.
Yeah.
You're never going to be that good. That's a really unique, good guy. He's like Woody Harrelson, right? Like, oh my God. delivers time after time after time, all different roles, hero, villain, impaired, whatever. Some of these guys really are spectacular actors, and he's one of them. And that Sahara movie is, if you like this, watch Sahara.
And that's something that you said you were talking about as well, is that you didn't feel like Ryan Gosling was like that kind of actor, right?
No, to me, he's like a rom-com guy.
Yeah.
I could see him like more in that way. He's the husband, the father, the boyfriend, or something. Not a tough guy.
Oh, he has done rom-coms. He was in Crazy Stupid Love. I'm not sure if you saw that one.
Good casting, I guess.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go see that, but
Yeah, so he has done those. It's really interesting you bring that up, because this movie is not doing too great in the box office, and a lot of people are drawing attention to the fact that that it seemed like the movie studios was really betting heavy that Ryan Gosling alone would pull in audiences.
I thought they were gambling that way, and I thought that was a bad gamble. And maybe it is a bad gamble, because he just wasn't. He wasn't James Bond. He wasn't. The guy who played he's a stuntman for an actor. The actor Tom Ryder, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Right, like Aaron Taylor Johnson looked more like he could have been the hero. And the fact that he was the hero in the movie they were making. Kind of made sense. Like, he looked better, he looked bigger and stronger, and he had what an attitude they gave him. His part was an interesting part for an actor to play, right?
Yeah.
Because he really was a prick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And of course he was a killer.
Yeah.
But he was a killer because he was weak. And so Ryan Gosling was supposed to be his backbone. Like, the actor's really a wimp, and I'm doing his stunts. And of course the actor wanted to be portrayed as doing some of his own stunts. And because he had that vanity, that was his undoing in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gosling said, I know how we get this guy. We make him do his own stunts. And what a phenomenal scene that was when they were in the car that did the giant jump.
Yeah.
And just imagine you're in the passenger seat of a stuntman who's going to flip a car or roll the car or whatever, and you're just a passive passenger. It had a double entendre because he was the fall guy because he was a stuntman.
Yeah.
He was also brought in to be the fall guy in the murder.
Yeah.
They didn't want the star of the movie to be the murderer. They wanted to be the washed up stuntman to take the fall and be the fall guy.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cute that way.
It was the clever titling that way.
Right.
The movie is if you really like if you like those movies about movies making movies and stuff like that, if you also just like being able to take a deeper look of what goes on behind making the movies you watch today, I would say go watch Fall Guy, because you're gonna see a lot of how the special effects are done, how the stunts are done, and how these movies really look like behind the scenes. But if you're gonna come here for the characters and for the act and for the plot and for even the romance, it's very standard. I would say it's very almost generic and stuff like that. So I would give it a 6 out of 10. If you like those things, then definitely go see it. But is it a must see? Is it something you have to watch? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I have pretty much the same comments. I put 7. I thought about it. You're saying 6. I'm saying 7. It's pretty much the same vibe. Nothing wrong with the movie whatsoever.
It was fun. Fun is a
but
really...
it certainly wasn't some blockbuster masterpiece. To me, it was like a Marvel movie. Like a Marvel Comics, or a DC comic movie where you know what to... you go to see a Captain America movie, you know what to expect. And this was the same way. It was really that same kind of a movie. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Fall Guy. I think it's Fall Guy, not The Fall Guy. Oh,
it has done there. The Fall Guy.
Oh, yeah, see, it was too small for me. I had to use better glasses.
Yeah. Thank you for watching The Real Generation Gap, and make sure to answer Fred's question down below. What are your favorite TV or movie theme songs? We really want to know, so make sure you tell us. And make sure to come join us again. Thank you for watching.